Hey guys, nice to see you again. I have a guest with me today, my husband. This is Bradley, everyone.
Yo.
So we have been praying quite a bit lately for God to kind of show us what's coming, and he interestingly gave us both a dream on the same night. So, which was that my birthday night?
Yeah.
2 nights ago on my birthday? Yeah, it was real weird. So on my birthday, he gave us both a dream. So I have Brad here so he can kind of explain to you his dream and what happened, and then he's going to have to go to work, and then I guess I'll explain my dream when he's done. I don't really know how that's going to work. Maybe I'll do a second video, but I wanted to be sure to get his dream on there too. Don't mind the hair. I just woke up, and I'm going to just turn it over to him and sip on some tea. So go ahead, honey. Tell them your dream.
Well, there was 3 parts to the dream. The first part is Mike Pence. Second part was some type of injection. And the third part was the choice to take it or not. And the way that the injection laid out in the dream was more or less the 3-sided 3 pieces that were able to disconnect from each other but were connected. And once they were injected, they would move through the body wherever they were supposed to go. That was just kind of how it was explained. For some reason, Mike Pence was a part of the dream, and it was weird because he doesn't really do anything for me or Jen. We talked about it. I don't know, but maybe he was the leader at the time. I don't know. But what was the strangest part about it is it was all laid out on tables like the length of a cafeteria, and you had to sit down and choose whether or not to take the injection.
Or longer, right? You said you couldn't see the back wall?
You really couldn't see the back wall. It was just numerous tables and numerous people, and every seat was full. And I wasn't necessarily in a seat. I was kind of observing from the front, looking at these people's faces and their reactions. But they were able to choose to take the injection or not. And once they took the injection, they would go through door on the left, my left, their right. Or if they didn't want to take the injection, they would go through my right, their left on the other side. And there was people making choices both ways, and they were coming in and out. A couple people were deciding to not make a choice at all and just kind of hide. But it was very strange the way that it explained exactly how what the injection looked like, which it's like I was in a microscope and I could see the 3 pieces, and they were kind of stacked on each other in a triangular shape, but they were the shape of a piece of rice, and they were all 3 with each other, and then they were able to separate from each other once they were in your body or in your blood, and they were shooting the injection directly into their neck, which was kind of creepy, to be honest with you. But there was probably a whole lot more details when I woke up, but I don't remember everything.
You had said that you weren't, because he told me the dream before just now, obviously, or I wouldn't know about it. But you said that there were 2 guys that you watched, and you weren't part of the actual thing. You were just like looking at what was going on.
I recognized 2 people. One of them was a guy that we had watched on the internet before. His name was Chris Green. I don't know if anybody knows who that is, but he was one of the guys, and he took the injection, and it immediately changed his face, and he went through, of course, door number 1, I guess, and on his right and my left. And then the other guy looked kind of like Wayne Brady. He was kind of pretending to take the injection, and then he decided to slide underneath the table and just kind of lean back and slid under the table and was kind of looking around. I think he was trying to, try to hide, or he was just one of the ones that decided to do neither and tried to blend in with all the chaos that was happening.
Were there any doors or windows that you can remember?
There was no windows in the room. It was a dark room, and it was just the 2 doors. You had a choice 1 and choice 2. And
did you know what was behind the doors?
I did not. I assumed one was you get to stay alive if you take the injection, and then you would die if you decided to go through my right door, your left door if you were the one taking the injection.
Do you know how you got there, like where you were watching what was going on? Was
No
it like you're kind of floating in the room, sort of looking down, or was it like you were looking through a camera, or was it?
Kind of I don't know. I was just there, but I wasn't involved. I was watching. I was observing, for sure. What was your dream about again?
My dream was, and you have to forgive all the noise in the background. Our kids obviously are awake because they woke me up. Anyway, so my dream was very dark, as a lot of my dreams are when they're given to me. We were I guess we were at our house to start with. I don't really know how it kind of began, but we ended up like running or trying to run away, but we were going down like a city alley, and there were these curtains on one side of the road, and they were like a dark purple color, and if you open them, there were like homeless children in them because their parents had been taken away or killed or something. And so like these kids were on the street, and we found this little girl, probably about 3 or 4, and I was like, oh, we have to take her with us, and he told me no, that it was a bad idea, but I insisted on taking the little girl, as I often insist on my own way, and it gets us into some kind of trouble. But anyway, we took this little girl with us and our family, because I was like, oh, we can't leave her, she's so little, and we knew we were being chased, but it wasn't like they were hunting us. It's not like they had guns, but I don't know, I didn't feel like they were shooting at us. They were just like following us. And we ended up going to this cabin in the woods, and sorry, my kid is being so noisy right now. 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to handle all of the noise that was going on. It made me really agitated. I felt like I couldn't hear myself speak, so I don't know if you heard anything that I said.
They did.
Okay. We'll go with it. So we were being followed or whatever, and we ended up in this log cabin in the woods, and I recognized it, but I didn't know where we were at first because it was very dark. And I went to use the restroom, and there was a knock on the door, and nobody ever knocks on the door if you know that someone's in there. Does that make sense?
Especially in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh,
Who's
crap.
in there?
Yeah, I was like, oh, crap, they found us. And so they started picking the lock on my door, and I started, like, looking around, trying to, like, find a window to climb out of or something like that, and there was a window, but I couldn't climb out of it, and so the door started opening, so I put my foot against the door, trying to hold back whoever was trying to get in and figure out what I was going to do. And it was my mom, and she said, honey, they found us, they're here, you need to come out now. And so I was like, well, crap. And so, which made me kind of upset, like, why would you, like, sorry, Mom, but, like, why would you knock on the door and tell them that you have another person in the house? I just, anyway, and so I came out, and they had, like, guns and stuff, and they captured us, and we were on our way back. I don't remember if we were walking or if we were driving, but on the way back, they ended up shooting the little girl that we had taken with us. And
Told you it was a bad idea.
I think it was maybe to get to us and scare us or upset us enough that we would follow orders or whatever. But we ended up somehow escaping from that, and there was this good guy who was a doctor. And
Was he wearing a doctor's coat?
He was. And when I say good guy, I don't mean that he was like on our side. He was clearly on the other side, technically, but it's kind of like, okay, if you compare it to the Nazis in Germany and the Jews, there were people that didn't fight the soldiers, but they hid the Jews, right? And so that's kind of what he did. Like, he didn't fight against the system, but he helped people as he could with, so they didn't die. So he took the little girl and took her into this big surgery room. There were like 30 surgeons in there, all gloved and masked up, and they ended up saving her, but she obviously couldn't come with us.
She definitely didn't die from COVID.
Will you stop?
They had masks on. Just saying.
Anyway, this is what I deal with every day. Just so you understand. I try and be serious, and this is what I get. So, anyway. So we went back to the cabin in the woods. Even though that's where they found us the first time. I guess the logic behind it was, oh, they found us here once, so they're not going to look here because they wouldn't expect us to come back a second time. But they found us. So it wasn't a very good plan. And I recognized it the second time because we got there in the evening, and it was actually in my grandmother's log cabin. So I was like, dude, I know these woods. Like, we're going to be totally okay. And I was like, when they found us, they were trying to get in the house. I was like, we got to sneak out through the back window and go to the secret meadow. Because in my grandmother's property, there's a bunch of woods, but there's a meadow or a field type thing in front of her house where we did a bunch of gardening. Like across the street, and then there's another one that's actually way back in the woods, and so I was like, oh, if we can just get out of this house and make it to that meadow, we're gonna be okay. And so we got out of the house and we were heading toward the meadow, and we were being chased, and that's when I woke up. So we were able to escape it one time. I don't know if we were able to escape again, but we had a plan in motion, and we were doing it, and we certainly weren't following what was going on. So that's what I got.
We definitely escaped.
Definitely.